As the m4LectPt1 exercise demonstrated, all is not as it seems when dealing with information. I had you do that exercise to get you thinking about authority and how to evaluate resources you come across in your research. This module is titled Authority, Constructed and Contextual, and is the most important module of this course. It's most important because what's the point of gathering information on subjects from unqualified sources? To have a discussion about authority, we have to establish working definitions for a few terms. The first is authority. Authority in this context means expertise. For example, Dr. Jones is a leading authority on the War of 1812. I'm not talking about authority as in power, i.e. the police. The next term is bias. Bias just means viewpoint. All resources have a viewpoint, therefore all resources have a bias. Students are often taught to avoid resources with a bias. The below article titled, I'm okay, you're biased, will go into the issue in more detail, but for our purposes, avoiding bias is not the goal. Identifying and evaluating bias is. So, in this module, we qualify authority as constructed and contextual. By constructed, I mean authority has identifiable characteristics for both the author and the resource itself. By contextual, I mean your information needs and your usage of the resource will determine if the resource is in fact authoritative. So why is authority problematic? Fundamentally, it's because you're not experts yet in your fields of study. Just a simple example. If I wanted to find the weight of the moon, I could go online and find it. But since I don't know the moon's weight, and I haven't any way to measure it for myself, how do I know what I found is correct? And that's really what this module is about, learning how to know if something is reliable. Authority is made further problematic because political and social agendas, just think of the m4LectPt1 example, and money that seek to influence research and reporting. The next three resources speak to different aspects of authority. View the first and read the second and third. The first resource is a TED Talk titled Why We Should Trust Scientists. In it, the speaker, a historian of science, talks a little bit about the scientific method and academic scholarship as a whole. This video offers an excellent introduction to thinking critically about information. The second article deals with bias, specifically the myth of unbias. The third article sounds a cautionary note about the relatively recent phenomena of Web 2.0, the read and write web. This article is about 9 years old, and web services allowing user-generated content have greatly expanded since it was published. Think Twitter, think Wikipedia, think YouTube. Think about your user-generated web content and how it affects authority. After watching or reading these, go on to part 2 of the authority lecture.